Happy New Year, folks. Welcome to a new video for I Just Hurt All of Your Ears. I'm so sorry. Welcome back to another Tweener Head Tennis video today here on the channel, and happy 2024. I can't believe it's 2024 already. That's a scary, scary thought. Welcome back to another video, you guys. I really appreciate you guys being here. If you are new to the channel, feel free to stick around. Make sure you leave a comment, leave a like, and consider subscribing to the channel. This year, I want us to try our best to hit 5,000 subscribers. And to kick off 2024, we have a very special interview with Chloe Beck, former Duke standout and now professional tennis player with a family history of tennis. She has now considered her journey to be on the Pro Tour, and this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate Alex at the Midland Classic for setting up this interview last year in 2023, but we've had so much going on. We wanted to start 2024 off right with this interview with Chloe. I want to apologize in advance too for the audio. I was doing this at my job, so I didn't have the best setup, but we made do with what we had. So I'm just appreciative that we were able to do the interview with Chloe. So make sure you guys leave a like, comment down below who we should interview next, and enjoy our interview with Duke standout, now professional tennis player, Chloe Beck.
All-American. Both your parents play tennis. Your brother played tennis. Your parents both work at an academy right now. Was this just kind of was this aligned in the stars for you to be a pro tennis player?
I mean, if you think about it that way, yes. But I never thought I'd play pro tennis, like growing up.
Really? Why?
The big goal for me was always college, and that's kind of where the story I thought ended for me. Because that already seemed like a lofty goal when I was young.
Okay.
And then when I finished college, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have so much more to give to the sport.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So for you, what was the turning point, I guess, because you had success in college. You were the senior player of the year of the ITA. What was the turning point for you to say, I need to at least try this?
I literally didn't make the decision that I wanted to go pro until I was like actually done with my collegiate career, like my final season.
Really?
Like after I lost my last match at NCAA's, I still was like not sure. And then I got home and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to try to play pro because I am just enjoying tennis so much and I'm not ready to be done. Like there's no chance I can be done right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a passion or a fire inside of you that just said, I have to at least try it.
Yeah. I mean, I think like a lot of juniors can probably agree or say that they've been in a similar position, just in terms of like, I think everyone has like little periods of burnout when you're growing up, if you're like, just being pushed hard by coaches, and it's hard to deal with expectations when you're younger and less mature. And I think I definitely dealt with that before college. And then when I went to college, I kind of found myself as a player, and I think matured a lot in terms of my on-court game, and also just being able to manage expectations, my own emotions, and really like grounding myself in like, why am I doing this? Why am I playing? And I think that definitely allowed me to enjoy the game more and kind of get to the position that I'm in now with my relationship with the sport, for sure.
You talk about tennis like it's another person when you say it like that. Is that because you treat it like not your significant other, but someone that you relate to, or someone you put your worth in?
Yeah, I mean, like at this point, like it's my job. It's like something that I love doing. And I think it's easy to kind of like lose that love, especially like if every week, I mean, there's only one winner every week on in this type of arena. It's definitely different with college, when I think, I was used to winning most of my matches and like not dealing with a lot of losses. So I think you really have to like have a good relationship with the sport in general, and just competing and being able to walk off the court after a loss and still be able to build on it instead of just sulking in that loss. So you have to just love to play versus like only loving to win, I think.
No,
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, yeah, no, I feel like when I was in juniors, it was like I loved winning, but I didn't have this like just love for the game to where I could genuinely like enjoy the process and love just competing, which I feel like I've kind of come to figure out throughout college, like being able to take a loss and build on it and just enjoy practices versus only really enjoying the super highs of the sport.
Interesting, because that process is, and I think that's the hardest part that I guess people in your position are not used to. And using your experience specifically, going from having winning streaks and having multiple wins every single year and having a huge amount of success, how did you channel that to, once you decided to go pro, how did you change your mindset to then go, okay, this is what I need to shift my focus to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was really a shift of focus that needed to happen now, because I think even though I wasn't dealing with like as many losses in college, just because I feel like I got really good at having like during a season, like playing that Friday match, having the Saturday off to practice, then playing the Sunday, like I got really good at doing that. And I feel like now it's like you have stretches of tournaments week after week, and you might be playing like 4 or 5 matches in a week, and then you literally play a match like the next day in the next city. So but I think I like learned how to I don't know, just enjoy the battle more in college. And I don't think mindset's changed at all. It's just still a learning process for me in terms of figuring out how to bring this like the same type of energy but in a different way, because it's just college tennis and pro tennis it's very different. Like the arena is different, it's different not playing next to teammates, so just figuring out how to still be able to find myself on the court in this type of arena versus in, you know, a college dual match.
So what would you say the biggest difference was for you experiencing a pro match versus a college match or dual match? Because a lot of people can say it's the energy, a lot of people can say it's the teammates, but psychologically, I feel like it's very different.
Oh my God, yeah. Psychologically, it's very different. Like, I mean, I feel like for me, I've always been someone who's needed to be in like, obviously everyone wants to be in like a good headspace before they get into a match, but I think I've always been like my biggest competitor in terms of like holding myself back, I think a little bit in juniors as an individual, just because I think I had the wrong mindset a lot of the time. And in college, I was able to really like put my own head aside and like look outside at what's going on and just enjoy the moment more. I think being able to cheer for teammates, like genuinely like letting my breath out and like yelling for my teammates during my own match helped me like get outside my own head. And like I play my best obviously when I'm not in my own head. So that helped a lot. And I obviously now don't have the ability to like actually look around at other courts and forget about my match a little bit. But I think even though I don't have the ability to do that, I think I've just enjoyed how to like or learned how to enjoy the moment more in terms of like throughout college. So that hasn't gone anywhere. It's just it's still a little weird because sometimes I want to, you know, be playing next to someone that I know and I can like genuinely like yell for during my own match, which I can't do that. So people would look at me weird if I did that. But
you could, but you'll just get a point penalty, and then you'll get some dirty looks from everyone else in the entire tournament space.
Yeah, and I'd rather not. I'd rather not have that happen. So, but it hasn't been as hard as I thought it would be, to be honest. I thought it would be more difficult for me, just knowing I did love like cheering for my teammates and how much I know like being able to use that to get out of my own head in college. But I think that just shows to like where I've, you know, worked myself to throughout college. So it's not like all that is lost. Like now that I've entered like the pro arena. So
So what do you think was for you to understand that learning process of getting outside your head? Did someone help you specifically for that, or was it built, built over time?
Yeah, I mean, I've always worked with like sports psychologists and things like that. I mean, I worked with Larry Lauer, who is with the USTA when I was a junior, but I don't think I really like fully bought into the whole like mental side of tennis until I was in
Okay.
college and started working with sports psychologists in our department and just kind of like talking through what works for me and what doesn't. And I think once I realized how much it actually did help me enjoy playing more, the more I bought into like doing little things to try to help myself get out of my own head, whether it's like little meditations in the morning or like journaling about things before I match, and then just making sure that I'm doing things to get out of my head on the court. Um, that's when it started working for me more. Um, but yeah, I think it's huge for the sport because like everyone can hit 1,000 balls. Everyone's out there hitting 1,000 balls. It's like the things that you do to separate yourself and to really put yourself in the best position to win is like, I think it's those like little things that you do versus like necessarily hitting like one extra ball in practice. So
And
yeah.
I like how you put that too, because again, a lot of people, and you get this too, when you start talking to people inside the top 200, 300, 400, 500, everyone can hit a good ball. There's not that much difference between someone in the top 200 versus someone that's in the top 1,000. It's more the mental state of how hard you can really compete. So if you were to put yourself in that situation, you would say it would be more mental than physical up until a certain point on the pro game.
It's kind of both, honestly. Like I feel like I have that mental edge
Mm-hmm.
now, which I didn't used to have. And I think something that I personally have to work on now is not necessarily hitting one extra ball, but like getting in the gym a little extra, because I feel
Okay.
like I'm looking around and like a lot of girls out here on the pro tour are just like a little bit stronger than me and like more stable on court. And I think the recovery is a huge thing in pros just because you're playing stretches of tournament weeks versus just tournament weekends in college. And I think, being able to withstand the level of ball that I'm seeing, it's just like a little bit bigger now. And needing to recover a little bit faster and be a little bit stronger, it's just I think that's also like those little edges that you need. But that's again different than just like hitting that extra ball. It's like off court things, things that you do in the gym, things that you do in like some recovery space. It's like those things. But yeah, it
The
all definitely
purpose,
plays into it.
it's kind of the purpose that you put behind each one, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
So in kind of going back to, I want to go back to your college, college days, because you graduated with a bachelor's in psychology, correct?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anyone that I've interviewed so far with a double minor in neuroscience and environmental science and policy. That must have been, well, that must have been tough to balance that schoolwork.
Yeah, it
How
was
did
tough.
you do it? How'd you do it?
I am a little, I jokingly say to people, like, I'm a little bit psychotic, like just a little bit. Like you have to be just a little bit insane to like make yourself do that. Cause like I didn't need to do that. There's no reason that I need to do that. It's not like someone said, in order to like do this career, get this in the future, like you must do these things, in college academics. But I also just love school. So,
That
I
helps.
yeah, I mean, like I chose my major and my minors based on what I enjoyed, because I was like, career wise in the future, like whenever tennis is over for me, it's like I want to be able to enjoy my career. So like, what do I enjoy learning about? What do I enjoy studying? And yeah, I feel like when we came back from team trips and it was late and I wanted to go to bed, it was like I had to do a little extra work, but it was okay because I enjoyed my classes. So I was like, it could have been worse. Could have definitely been worse if I were just like taking classes that I was completely uninterested in, which is inevitable a little bit. Like you have to take classes that aren't
Yeah.
super fun, but I feel like I built my schedule pretty well in terms of like at least enjoying the courses that I was taking. So that helped for sure.
So what did you want to do besides, if you weren't playing pro tennis right now, what would you be doing?
I have no idea. Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I have no clue. I literally have no clue because my issue is that I have too many interests. Like I feel like I have way too many interests. Like I love to work in sustainability. I think like the environmental sustainability sphere, and also just in terms of like sustainable development in companies, because I was going to do a 5th year in our business school. And I was like, oh, like the sustainability in business would be really cool. But then I'm like, but I love my psychology classes, and I could see myself going back to school and becoming a psychologist or a counselor or a psychiatrist. So it's like, it's one of those things where I'm just a decision when tennis is over for me. But I definitely have no shortage of path options. It's just a matter of like, which will I choose at the moment? I don't know.
You don't know.
So,
Well, it's
we'll
not your profession yet. It's you're focusing on this. You got plenty of time for it. And for you to, I think when we talk about your career, we also have to talk about your relationship with Emma, because you two seem to have a great relationship on court, from juniors to pro. If you were to describe Emma Navarro in 3 words, what would it be?
oh my God, if I had to describe Emma Navarro in 3 words, one is freaking good at tennis. That's freaking good at tennis. 4.
That's 4.
No, I mean, I feel like when we were traveling together as juniors, like she's just hilarious. Like she's so funny. And I feel like some people might not know this about her because she's so professional when she's on court. Like she's always been very like locked in when she's on court, super calm and collected. And like me and juniors, I was always frazzled. And that's why I had to do all this stuff in college to center myself. But she's always been super professional and calm on the court. But she's just super funny and outgoing, like when she's off court. So it's just funny how she's been able to strike that balance for longer than I have. So I have a lot to learn from her for sure. But
I like that. I like that. And what do you think made you guys work well together? Because finals at a junior grand slam, winning a pro title together, it seems like there's chemistry between you two that is hard to mimic or copy.
yeah, I mean, we started playing doubles together when we were really young. So I think we were like 13-ish when we started playing together. And we also traveled together a lot as juniors. So I think it was one of those things that because we knew, every week we had a tournament, we were going to play together. And because we trained a lot together as juniors and we had a lot of time with each other off the court, it's just like we had this bond that, some other doubles teams didn't have. So we just understood each other really well without even having to think about it, because we just had this connection that was built up over so many years. And that just, I think, helped us once we did start playing, pro events together. We were a little older. So yeah, I think that makes a difference for sure.
So when you play with a doubles player as well, like this week, you are playing with a former teammate from Duke. So what do you think is the best way to find chemistry with your doubles partner?
Oh my gosh. I feel like chemistry, I mean, it's different for everyone, but I think I am someone who needs to keep things light in a doubles match, like not get too stressed, keep things, fun, because I feel like doubles should be fun. And so I think whenever I've had good chemistry with teammates or just people who I've done well with, it's always like just being able to like laugh off the mistakes and just like be, having some sort of running conversation during the match. Like, yeah, you got to talk strategy, but just also having something to keep the match light and keep the vibes good when we're on the court. So Gotta keep the vibes good. No, but I mean, Ellie Coleman, who I'm playing with this week, is one of my best friends. So we played in college for one full year, my junior year, and then we played a little bit at the end of my senior year, and we always did well together. I think just because we also had that bond off the court, and we're just like joking with each other all the time. So it definitely helps. Definitely helps when matches get tight. So
I see it. I'm starting to hear a common theme for you and not focusing too much on the match and getting tunnel vision. You like to focus on stuff around you to keep you not as stressed about what you're doing in the moment. Seems like a common theme within your game. And tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're so right. I think because I come from a tennis family and I can't escape tennis talk. Like I've heard a lot about tennis. Like I think I understand the game pretty well. And whenever I'm working in practice, we're working on specific things, trying to develop my game. And I obviously go into my matches with a few specific goals, but it's very simple stuff because I'm a big overthinker. So I can easily I can easily think too much when I'm on the court and try to analyze things too much. So I've gotten to a space where I've realized what helps the most for me is just, doing those things to calm me down and to like make me smile on court. And when I'm, enjoying the battle, that's when I play my best. So
it seems like that. And sometimes as a coach, like you can see a player, and because I teach tennis for a living, it becomes one of those things where you understand that people can get distracted by it, but it's how do you circle back to that Zen mode, or how do you refocus to get yourself back into the game? I think that's always the hardest part.
Like during a match, like refocusing yourself, or
during a match, because you can focus on anything else when you're playing, but it's always recentering yourself to play the next point or to get ready.
Yeah.
It seems like it comes natural to you.
Yeah, that like weirdly, like that's been like that's the easiest part of tennis for me. It's like the hardest part. That's like literally the easiest part of tennis is because like I want to win every point so bad. And like I feel like getting locked in for a point is not an issue for me. It's more just like once I get into the point, not like having anxiety about like whatever's going to happen in the point, or like thinking too much about, where I'm going to go and what they're going to do and like all these other things, or like what other people are going to think about what I'm doing. And, it's just, that was the biggest thing for me. But I don't know what that is. I don't know where that came from. But yeah.
So how do you escape talking tennis all the time with your family?
I mean, I say I can't, like, I mean, we talk about tennis because it's like when my parents talk about what they're doing in a day, like, it's like, who are you teaching today? What are you, it's like, it's tennis. But I feel like my parents also have a lot of like other things they want to talk to me about in my life. So it's not like they're like shoving tennis down my throat by any means. And
just to make that clear to everyone else.
Yeah, just make it clear. It's not like they're force feeding me tennis on the daily. No, but my dad is so funny. He sends me like these little gratitude texts every morning, and he's like some quote that he found online. It's like just being grateful for the day and like all these different things. But he'll talk about the most random stuff with me. And my mom likes to talk about, concerts and bands we like and different things that's happening in the music world. So we each have our little things that we like to chat about. But I mean, I don't know. There's no escaping it, like for good.
No escaping. No,
there's no escaping.
There's no escaping, especially when you pro tennis player, parents both work in tennis, and it has to be. But it's funny. Do you have a favorite quote or quote that your dad or your parents have told you that's kind of stuck with you?
Oh my gosh, I feel like a big one is just like be where your feet are, but that's like something that is like super generic. I feel like you've never heard that?
I've never heard that.
That's funny. Because I feel like that's a pretty common one that a lot of people do know, but it's probably my favorite just because I think it like really encompasses what like being present is, you know. It's like I feel like I lived a lot of my junior tennis career without being present. Like I was always thinking about the next match, the next tournament when I was in practice, you know, at some event, at some site, you know, 2 days before the event started, I was already thinking about my match. I like was not able to fully be wherever I was. And I think now that's a big thing that I try to do, because like the only thing you have is the present moment. Like it's like you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if you're gonna win a match, lose a match. You don't know if you're gonna get injured tomorrow, if you're gonna be, you don't know what's gonna happen. So I feel like just making sure that I am in the moment, enjoying whichever moment I'm in, and just accepting where I am at in that moment has been like the most helpful thing for me in terms of managing college tennis, college academics, just life in general. I think it's huge just to try to stay in the moment and where your feet are. So
I love that.
yeah.
I love it. I've never heard of that, and I actually really need to start doing that myself, whether it's coaching or playing. I mean, I really do enjoy that quote. But Chloe, I can't thank you enough for doing this and your patience with my terrible internet. So I thank you again. Is there any social medias that people can follow you on for your journey, fun stuff, anything like that? Would you like to shout out now?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing really that I use consistently would be probably my Instagram. It's just Chloe Beck 16. But I mean, I'm fairly inactive on socials. But yeah, if you want to follow me, just keep up with my SOPA score and and just anything with with my live scores if you want to see how I'm doing. But yeah, I'm not the biggest social media person in the world. Just but
that's okay.
Yeah.
But Chloe, I can't thank you again. I really appreciate it. Make sure to go follow her and her journey. Whether or not she will respond to anything that you send her, we'll find out. But thank you guys again for tuning in, and see you guys soon.